CNN put out a big, long article about a vacation destination that has been often neglected by tourists, but now has had a resurgence in tourism over the last couple years. I kid you not, CNN wrote an article about why it is a good tourist destination to go to Somalia. Now, I know you're all rushing to your computers, calling your travel agents. I gotta book a trip to Somalia. Says no one, by the way. But just to give you some context as to what the libs are saying, CNN went on this big whole thing about how Somalia is become a tourist destination. They start with by saying 10,000 tourists visited Somalia in 2024, a 50% increase from the year prior, which, by the way, is not good numbers. Like, it's not like we're talking like a million people that go to like Hawaii, for example. The number has doubled, or it has increased by 50%. Congratulations. It's still only 10,000 people. Why, CNN, are you trying to push Somalia as a tourist destination upon us? An adventure company called, I'm not going to name the adventure company, ran a group of 13 trips to Mogadishu in 2024 compared to just 2. Wow, they're really stepping up their tourist game. Somalia also launched a new e-visa system in 2025, September 2025, to simplify entry in case you or your family would like to take a trip to the third world hellhole that is Somalia. Now, this is all in spite of the fact that the United States government has classified Somalia as a level 4 do not travel. The United Kingdom also warns of high threats of kidnapping. Al-Shabaab militants have carried out deadly attacks in Mogadishu since early 2005, and visitors also must stay in a secure green zone and travel with armed convoys. But none of that should deter you from experiencing the wonder and delight of the third world hellhole that is Somalia. There's also a humanitarian crisis. Over 550,000 people have been displaced in 2024 due to conflict, and CNN calls it climate disasters, but just bad weather, effectively. And by the way, that actually does matter when you're in a third world hellhole and the buildings are not to any sort of code. Yeah, they may actually collapse in a storm. Nearly 3 million people have already been internally displaced. And there's a bunch of piracy concerns and threats to safety in the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean. Against all odds, though, CNN is saying tourism is rising despite a decade of conflict and active government travel warnings. Now, they go on to say why they think travel is resurging. They think it's extreme travel vacation seekers want variety in their countries that they've traveled to in pursuit of personal ambitions to reach all nations. They also note that it's a relative stability in the face of fierce fighting over the course of the previous decade. Somalia is relatively stable now, which makes it a fantastic tourist destination. They also mention the political fragmentations mean that, well, these places are very, very safe to go to, again, in Somalia, but just don't go to any of those other places in the bad parts of the country. Interestingly enough, some of the quotes are very funny. Still, walking on the beach felt safe. Okay, I'm not sure that's a good bar or a standard to take to, but I guess if that's the only thing that you can say, so be it. Why am I talking about this? What is actually going on? Why are there more people visiting Somalia than ever before? Why has the tourism to Somalia increased by 50%? And why is CNN trying to celebrate this as if it is a good thing? What is actually driving it? Because I don't buy the fact that normal everyday people are like, hey, honey, you know where I think we should go on vacation? Mogadishu. I think any sane person who understands the volatility in areas like Somalia would go, no, I'd rather not. But what is driving the vacationing or tourism, or let's just say travel to Somalia? Well, there's this video clip that actually might give some insight into that. A population that exists among us may be the key and only driver of people visiting Somalia. Cut 1.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Somalia. Somalia. Hiran State. Ma'awisle. Ma'awisle. Early voting was hadda illa November 4. I need your vote. Wani de bahanahay. Wani de bahanahay. I need you.
Oh, maybe that's what's driving visiting Somalia. Maybe the fact that we imported a bunch of Somalians specifically to the Minnesota, Minneapolis area. Maybe those people are just going back to visit family or to visit the homeland that their allegiance is actually pledged to. I don't know, CNN. Maybe people aren't trying to vacation to Somalia. Maybe the 50% increase in travel to Somalia is not avid travelers who really want to set a personal ambition goal of reaching all the countries. Maybe it's not people that want to possibly feel safe walking on the beach. Maybe it's not folks who are looking for an adventurous getaway. Maybe it's a bunch of people that we imported into the country for some reason who are simply returning home to the country of their actual allegiance and coming back and forth because we have no standards when it comes to our border.